Okay, we're back. Camera over here a little bit better. There we go. You can see everything, I think. Pull back just a touch. Okay, we got the indicator here between the bearing and the flywheel. We got clearance on the bearings, and we got clearance to our nut, so it doesn't hit anything. Okay, so now we get back to our truing. You can play back the video and see if it changed anything. It probably did. Okay, remember everything comes off our crank pin for rotation, what we do. So when the needle goes up, it's high. When it goes low this way, it is low on the indicator. So right now our high spot is right here on the flywheel. The crank pin nut's right here. So this flywheel needs to be rotated downward or pinched. Okay, the other one is high right over here. You can watch that needle there. And if you look at it, that one's high there. And they're high pretty much about the same spot, almost identical. So that means what we need to do is we need to spread the flywheel on the other side 180 degrees away on the low spot being down there. So you figure out where the high spot is, which is right there. You go 180 over, we spread it here, and that will do the trick that we need. So I use a big chisel that's got a long tapered ramp to it here, and you do your spreading. You gotta make sure you uncrank your handle over here, which is hard to see. Rotate a little bit. Yeah, too close to show you that. The handle's over here, you gotta rotate it. You have to make room. Then you tighten it back up after it pops out. And you see how much it moved. And that's just a game of going back and forth until you get what you need. Okay, this one here is roughly about the same spot. This one is also. This one side's not quite as much as this other side, but it's close. So we'll give it some more. Now what the flywheel rim is doing doesn't matter, it's what the tapers are doing, main shafts. So we don't change it any. So what I'm going to do a double hit on the high side. This is our high side, I'm going to hit here on this side and here on this side with my hammer. Now this here is about a 20-pound lead hammer. Use lead because it doesn't damage anything when you hit it. The lead takes the impact. And that had the most effect, if you can tell. You can also see how this indicator is a little bit different on the other side right now. This one's high right there. This one's high right here, which is, yeah, they're pretty close. This one's just slightly different. So do a twisting, you put the punch underneath on the one flywheel here, the high side, you hit on the low side, you hit on the high. Don't hit it much, it's pretty close. Now the tighter you tighten this crank pin nut, the more you have to beat on the flywheel, so force this step up. So when I tighten stuff really tight, it makes my job a lot harder for truing. Still about the same spot. I'm going to try spreading again. That would be a spread. Pop it out. Make sure you don't have it hitting you in the head when it pops out. It can fling right into your head real easy. So spreading doesn't seem to do the trick. Doesn't make much of a change. beating on it seems to be the trick. If you hit it too hard, you'll bend the shaft over here, so you gotta be careful. And they always tell you not to beat inside the stand or on the taper. So how in the hell are you gonna do it if you don't do those two things? I don't know. No matter what, you gotta beat on the shaft, so what the hell's the difference, in the stand or not? When you're in the stand beating on it, you got things you're doing that are different than if you beat on it physically outside. I do put them in the press and beat on them too at times, if needed. Okay, we're still high in about the same spot on that one. And this one's a little bit different. This one's closer to 90 degrees from the crank pin, so hitting on that's not going to make much different. So this is now our high spot over here, so we got to beat this down. So we'll get a hold that side and beat on this. Now when I do that, I'm beating on that crankshaft over here, which I don't want to be beating on that too much. So what you do is you flip it around 180 this way, and you hit on the flywheel over here. If I did that right, let me look at that. Confusing me. Spend too much time explaining stuff you don't do it right. Okay, so instead of beating on this, we're going to hold it. We're going to hit on the other side over here, which was our low spot. Now is our high spot. Now this side's a lot stronger over here, so you can beat on it harder. I hit it fairly hard because I know it's pretty tight. Let's see what happened. If you notice the two needles are moving pretty close together again, that means I straightened it out. Okay, so that's the same spot on that one. And now that one's over there where it belongs to. So, trying to figure out where our error's at. Looks to me like that is the problem. This shaft might be bent up. So what I need to see if these flywheels are square. So I'm going to take a caliper measure in 3 spots and see what they are. This will give us a reference to what we're actually fighting against here. So first thing you do, you measure 180 degrees from the crank pin. So we're at 463. This is our high side over here, 468. And our low side is over here, 460. So there's 8 thou difference between this side and that side. So this side needs to be spread 8 thousandths finished, which means you got to do it more than that. So that tells me, even though it's not really making much difference spreading over here, I need to keep spreading over here because that's where it's pinched. That's the problem area. So it doesn't matter if it wants to do it or not, we're going to make it do it. So we'll do that. We'll check it. And time for a phone break. We'll be back.